Tonight's Media Peace Award-winning documentary on One, Titless Wonders, takes an intimate look at women dealing with breast cancer and contains scenes that may disturb some people. We advise discretion.
Where mothers get the perks, you see, they get the leftovers. Goes in here and out here, see?
It's the 5th of July 1994 and it says, "Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Old saying, new meaning. I have decided in this week of midterm break to have a smear, have a mammogram, embark on some counselling and have a haircut. Today I had the smear and then went into Mercy Hospital for the routine mammogram, which turned out to show cell irregularity in a small area in my right breast. The cells, were diagnosed but not confirmed yet as being precancerous and in a very early stage of development, still confined within the mammary ducts within a 10mm area." I feel really resolved about the fact that my mother has died. I think there was such a long time to get used to what was going to happen. I mean, I supported her in her choices and did feel for quite a while there that she was on the right track because she was so fine, you know. She looked fine, she had heaps of energy. Life continued on and she had this sort of little challenge in the background.
I found myself walking along the beach, feeling strange, feeling something was out of joint. And I didn't have any notion of this diagnosis. I hadn't discovered the lump in my breast, but I knew in a sort of at a deep level that there was something terribly wrong with my life. I had become disillusioned with my work environment. I'd got out of it. It might have been that watershed, being 48 years of age. And I don't know why, but I started just to bring my hand across the pectorals, across the front of my chest. And I kept going and I found this lump. I mean, it was a galvanising moment, really. I tried to just think, oh, well, that's just a regular lump, but I felt the other breast and it was quite obvious that it wasn't part of a ordinary breast tissue. I mean, it was quite obvious it wasn't, even though I tried in those few moments to convince myself that it was. And I I just thought, this is it. This is it. I'm on it. I knew at that moment that my life was going to change. I just knew. I hadn't had a diagnosis, but something deep inside me told me there's something here that is going to change my life. And it did.
So they give you this big X-ray to see whether it's lurking anywhere else, and I just knew, because I'm a fagger. God, I've got lung cancer. I've never let anyone look down my throat. I just know they'll, you know, sort of looking. You don't go looking for trouble. I thought I have lung cancer. It'll be blah blah blah. And I was just overjoyed. I danced all the way home. I've only got breast cancer. It's not anywhere else.
The nurse come rushing out saying that we got you an appointment for late in the afternoon. And I said to my husband, it's just so soon. Everything's rushing, just rushing. And sort of having a little cry, and he said to me, what's the matter? And I said to him, I'm so scared of your reaction when I haven't got a breast, and I'm scarred on how you would react. Because I want you to love me, and I know you do, but not scarred. And he stopped the car and he leaned over. He said, I love you so much. Nothing is going to alter that. Nothing. And I thought, neat, we can get on with it now.
And the nurse said to me, have you had any discharge from this breast? And I said, no. And she presses down the thing on the breast and she lifts it, and there's fluid on the thing, and she says brightly to me, oh, you have a discharge. And I thought, how? How could I not know any of this? It's the thing that still haunts me. How can you have a 6 to 7 centimetre tumour in your breast seeping out of a nipple and you don't even know? How could I not know? Had I deluded myself for however long that this was in my body? Of course, I never slept at night after the diagnosis until the surgery, I mean. But I spent a lot of time thinking about my life, and I planned my funeral. And it was quite comforting, really, feeling that I could organise that part of my life too. Histology slides of breast cancer patients. And there's some rather lovely classical Greek art ones. So it starts, I went out to the lab at Lower Hutt, and I talked to Dr. Karen Wood, who's a pathologist, and she gave me a lesson on how to identify breast cancer slides, which was very important. No one but you can deal with this. I still had the hours in the bedroom alone dealing with it. However much support I had around me, ultimately, you're alone. I think that was for Jill today. He died yesterday. I'd look across on the dresser and I'd look at that photo of Gran, and I had such a sort of a communication with her, you know, with that photo, and I can remember sort of trying to draw that life force that that old woman had into me. And I could hear her with this big voice saying, fight the good fight, Jan, with all thy might, you know? It was an energy. And having her presence in the room was very important. Suzanne, my sister, is very involved with Native American artists in Seattle. So one night she says to me, well, I'm having my 50th birthday party. I said, great, let's just forget about the fact that I'm about to lose my breast in a few days' time. Let's have a party. Suzanne puts this blanket around me and we stand in a circle. Ralph, the artist, Haida artist, is in the centre chanting, and some of Suzanne's friends had given me some healing stones. And we had this extraordinary ceremony. And it was wonderful, but it was also one of the hardest things that I've gone through. Because in a way, it truly made me confront what was ahead of me. And I nearly lost it that night. I mean, I thought, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I mean, I was lying in that hospital bed, you know, and hours and hours of unconsciousness and trying to find my body again as I came to, and I started to wriggle my toes, trying to reconnect. And it was an absolute moment when I was trying to, just with that minimal movement, and I knew I just had to dance. I thought the only way I can reconnect with my body in some way is to dance. And hell, I hadn't been on the stage for over 10, 15 years. And I hadn't thought in stage terms that I was going to do that, but I knew I was going to dance. I'm taking myself right back into that moment. I'm taking myself back into the powerlessness of being on that hospital bed, being wheeled into a theatre where you are completely in the hands of other people. You're lying down in a horizontal position and these large figures looming over you doing things to your body. In some ways, I felt grateful that I was overseas with the first cancer diagnosis. Because part of me just wanted to crawl away into a cave like a wounded animal, really, and not deal with the world.
I lost all my confidence. I had no confidence when Mum and Dad died. I thought, oh.
But no, I mean, I think the story's important to be told, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Mine is a little bit different from probably a few other women in that when Mum and Dad died, I didn't deal with cancer, which is why I had a breakdown 18 months later, and that's why I had to deal with it 18 months later. Because at the time, I mean, I went into hospital thinking, oh God, so I've got to have a breast. That didn't worry me. I mean, I've had a toe amputated, I've had appendix, I've had Caesar babies, I've had, you name it, I've had it. Having surgery didn't worry me losing a breast. The cancer thing didn't worry me. I was more concerned with Mum and Dad having died. That was what probably got me through the worst part of the treatment, the surgery, the chemotherapy and the radiation, because I was trying to deal with Mum and Dad's deaths. Anyway, I had to deal with the surgery the next day or the day after. So a friend took my children after Dad's funeral and had them, it was Samantha's godparents, looked after the kids for me. And that night at my sister's home, with all the relations there, I thought, God, you know, things go in threes. His mum's died and Dad's died. It must be my turn next. They're all coming to say goodbye to me now. And I thought, oh, do I really say goodbye now, or am I going to fight this? And I thought, I'm not saying goodbye. And the children, I mean, I couldn't let them see that this was going to beat me. I had to be there for them. I mean, no one's as good a mother as I am for them. So that's, I think, really, that's how I got through.
it scares the people around you. I mean, I think my children were really upset, you know. I don't think I'd ever been sick, or I don't think they'd ever had to worry about me. And it was kind of a novelty too, having your children worry about you. But, yeah.
I went back for the biopsy results on Friday to be told that they didn't quite get the clear margin that they wanted around the whole area removed, and that I would have to have another operation. I felt quite devastated at the thought of having to go through it again. No hook wire though. Having found a few active cancer cells, they must then have decided that I was a cancer patient. I was given a book list and 2 books, plus a video, Early Breast Cancer, which I finally brought myself to watch with Amy yesterday morning. We cracked up laughing. It was so narrow-minded. She's got here, visualise, written in large letters and underlined. Visualise the affected area free of any irregular cell growth, with the healing, loving energy of the universe moving, flowing into and on from all the cells in my body.
Done till tomorrow.
Wednesday night, day 3 of second post-op, still feeling somewhat dazed, but okay now after a nagging and persistent headache since the operation has lifted. Everything went okay. Results from second biopsy tomorrow. Please let it be a clear margin this time so I can get on with my holistic healing. She didn't really want to acknowledge it in a lot of ways, which got worse and worse too as time went on, because she felt like even if she acknowledged it in any kind of a way, she would be giving into it, you know, acknowledging. She didn't even like saying cancer. It was like when she was unable to work and didn't actually have any income whatsoever, she refused to go on the sickness benefit because it was the sickness benefit. And then somebody suggested to her that she could call it something different and, you know, not acknowledge it as being the sickness benefit. And she called it the wellness benefit, and that was okay.
I took with me into the intensive care unit a very ancient adze, a talkie that belongs to us or lives with us, because I wanted it to see the state-of-the-art technology. So I had it under my pillow as an exercise, to do my exercises with, straight away as soon as I woke up. So it's quite a big one, quite a big adze. But it was sitting there when I woke up, as I asked them to do. I pulled it out to have a look at all these things, oscilloscopes and drips and drains, and because it was you adzes, who enabled us to get to this country. And you were the creation, you were the tool that made the ships that brought us here. So just have a look around at the next state of the art. They must have thought this woman with an adze doing exercise was nutty, but it worked.
Please, God, help me shift out of all areas of limitation. Keep your breasts. I need company here. I am too isolated physically. I've had a bath, imagining myself to be immersed in the river of life. I asked Mataji for help during meditation and feel much lighter now. Lanananda has just rung, offering the support of a prayer circle amongst other possibilities. It is important that I let her and others know the ways in which I would like support. Right now I feel excited by the challenge. At other times of the day I was crying out, I don't need this.
Certainly there was tons of love and a lot of praying, and the praying extended from traditional Christian people right through to witches' covens, which was really wonderful, and they all started praying at the same time. which was 8 o'clock in the morning on the morning of the surgery. I was going into theatre then, but they delayed it for a couple of hours, so all the praying was at 8 o'clock and I went in at 10 o'clock. But I think the praying did make a difference. I think the energy is relevant. The energy of praying, the energy of care and love and concern. And I don't think there's anything more powerful than love. It can move massive, massive things. But at the same time, I did my chemotherapy and drank my beta-carotene and went along and had all the tests and things like that.
Here we are. 27th of July 1995. My annual mammogram last week showed another small area of calcification which has appeared since last time a year ago. I was pretty shattered and grateful to have dear Amy's company. I am not as devastated as I was last year, as I have already confronted the issues involved and have made some significant changes. I have started on the parasite cleansing program and will do a fast when it's completed, as well as a no meat, no dairy product, no wheat, no tea or coffee diet. This is when she decided that she'd had enough of the medical profession, and I think lost all confidence that they were actually able to do anything for her, and refused to have another operation. Said she'd had enough of being chopped up, and yeah, was going to do it her way now. And she told you that, did she? Yeah. Yeah, she did. She did.
My twin whāngai sisters came from Christchurch, because we're Ngāi Tahu. We come from the Canterbury region and the peninsula. They just flew in and walked straight, said g'day to me. I was sitting up in my bed with my drains and all this sort of thing, and some very serious, sad-looking people sitting around me. And they walked straight into the wardrobe and said, in their loud theatrical voices, "I've always liked her blue earrings, and I think I'll have these." And the other one said, "No, I'll have those shoes too, because I've always admired those shoes." And they came out with them on, and things like that. And we've got they went home with them too. And so I said to people in my family, "What will we do with the breast?" And grandfather was dead by then. He always buried everything anyway, clothes, glasses, false teeth. He said, "Uncle's false teeth have been left in the glass after we buried him. What will we do with them?" "Bury them." So we had a champagne burial. Everybody came, all her family and friends who wanted to, and some were feeling ill, some were feeling fine. Anyway, the family bought a beautiful pot to put it in to start with, and it didn't fit, it was too big. It went all over the side. And again, like, people don't have to go and see dead people and give them kisses and things, nor did they have to see this. It was there if people wanted to. So I walk past it every day and say good day to it, and you know, everybody knows it's there. Some people reckon it's moving toward the house underground.
The sea is loud, the moon waning after being full a couple of nights ago. I am feeling a weight has been removed from me after receiving a normal result for my breast cancer blood test. Wow. I see the result as confirmation of the decisions and choices and practices I've been doing over the last few months. And I have made an appointment to visit the Self-Realisation Centre at Lee on my way to Auckland on Thursday for healing and counselling. I am on the move again.
My mates just brought round the champagne and got pissed. And actually, I remember when I had the biopsy and I just had the anaesthetic, and Martha came and got me from the hospital. You know when you get up from those things and when your stomach just feels sick, sort of leaning out the window, and I just live around the corner, but I said I can walk. No, I got driven. And I remember going in and out. When you've had an anaesthetic, you're sort of tired and you sleep. And they were having a party in the other room. It was just this wonderful noise. I mean, they were there looking out for me. Yeah. But they were having a party. It was great.
And enjoying themselves as they did.
Yeah, and they made terrible jokes, Like, nobody will know. Nobody will know that you've had one off, you won't be able to notice. Oh, the big boss, I think, was a bit embarrassed. No, my colleagues are amazing. They're very rude. One last feel before it comes off. I mean, isn't that terrible?
I was just lucky, fortunate. But in the next bed, a young woman, we just had her second mastectomy. The cancer had metastasised and she had a 4-year-old and a baby and a husband and a tiny family like that. I felt very bad having so many people doing so many loving things for me when this little family was facing the greatest tragedy they possibly could have ever imagined. These children were going to grow up without their mother.
The journey begins again, ! On Friday at 5 p.m, I rang to get the results of my July the 28th CA 153 results. I had gone from 21 in March to 26, still within the normal range, but a much higher jump than any previously. I had also noticed a lump or thickening in my right breast over the last few months, scar tissue perhaps, and so I found myself slipping pretty immediately into a state of fear and vulnerability. Dr. Malloy told me today, looking me in the eye, "You have breast cancer." I feel strangely removed, yet at times the tears pour down. It is hard to accept that on a spiritual level I have chosen this learning opportunity, yet I do believe that. I feel fine. This afternoon I rang and cancelled the unemployment benefit I've been on for the last 16 weeks or so. Interestingly, the time in which the blood count went up. It feels like one of the leaps of faith I'm being urged to make, to trust I can support myself and will be supported, sustained by life. Tomorrow I'm going to cancel the house insurances. I feel lighter for having taken the step I have today. It is truly time to step into trust, to do it another way.
The first 2 years, I suppose, the first 18 months, I thought, gee, I was fine, and then all of a sudden I started feeling I don't really want to be driving this car. I really want to be over that bank, but I can't do that because the kids are in the car. And I started going from being, not so bad, to sort of going like this. I was also trying to deal with going through menopause because chemo and tamoxifen kicked me into that. And that's moods and hot flushes and all of that. Anyway, I went off to the doctor and he said, you are suffering depression and we need to do something about this. So he put me on antidepressants, which I took for a month and hated and threw away. I went to one group meeting in Lufin and it was to talk about prosthesis and the bras that go with it and all the rest of it. And we went into this room, without a word of a lie, we walked into this room and they sat me in the middle of this room with about 50 women and they were all 60 or 65 not out. All I could smell was mothballs from their cardigans and thought, yes, I belong. And looked around and I did feel out of it. I spoke to the woman that was doing the demonstration later and she said, oh, you looked so uncomfortable sitting in the middle of all of that. And so she put me in touch with another girl who was Jan. And I went down to Jan's home probably a week after that and we decided let's do something. I'd like to get a daffodil tattoo on the top of my leg.
Hey, now the Cancer Society like that, you say, well, I've got a new marketing idea. To hell with Dame Cat coming down on her parachute. Kay's going to show her bum. Hey, you want a hand with the coffee?
No, you just have to tell me what you want and I'll do it.
Oh, coffee.
I'll be a waitress.
You wouldn't believe I've just got out of bed, would you?
Well,
Well, I worked till 11 o'clock last night. I'm okay. I'm frustrated and I'm waiting to be told whether I'm having chemo.
Oh, sorry, didn't I do it?
Waiting for...
Oh, you've got those. Yeah, it's just a piece of paper that you read to let you know more than what he could probably tell you. You know, because when you're sitting there talking to him and he's told you that you've got cancer of a sort, that's all you hear. You don't hear it anymore.
I can stand the hair falling out. I can stand my prosthesis. I can't stand waiting.
And all of a sudden, all of these other women wanted to come and we thought, Jan and I talked and we thought, well, really, what does age matter? You know, we've all been there and done that, and if we can help one another, who cares? So anyone and everyone. Yeah. Men, if they want to come along, they're welcome.
And then one day you need to know more.
Well, if you want more information about this...
Yes, please, I do now.
Because I can give you that.
That's lovely. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, it's good to hear about your job.
Yeah,
I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just saying that the design of the, the machine was made by me, and that was a really...
That'd be about right.
Do with it, she'd change that.
Well, that's why I put that funny ditty on the back of the last...
Oh, yeah, I like the cartoon with those two flat breasts. So I know what you think.
Rainbows everywhere for the ears.
Yes, they have.
Oh, I should put that up.
I should have said
If you go and have a mammogram, you'll have to have somebody to drive you home because you won't be able to drive home after having a mammogram. When I had one, I sort of, it wasn't anything like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Except when they want you to do more, you know, say, we want more and...
Oh, yeah, and you've got that machine dug under your arm.
Well, I just get sick of all that grizzling about the mammograms. People go on about it. Oh, it hurt, it was so painful. I know you're born. It's over in 5 seconds. That poor woman, she gets your bosom in there, races like mad and flick the switch, and then she's straight back again. You know, it's seconds. And it could save your life.
When I arrived on Saturday night, there was a message from Roy on my answer phone. I haven't heard from him in years, so it was a nice surprise. Gayleen had told him I wasn't well. I must write to her and tell her I am. I know she has a real concern for me, but strangely the effect of people telling others about some detail of your situation becomes negative when the rumour is strengthened and perpetuated by repetition. You just didn't talk about it. I remember the day that she had a bone scan, or had the results of a bone scan, which revealed basically that she was riddled with cancer. It was in about 7 more places, and she shed a few tears and then got a burst of energy and stormed back across the road to Domain Lodge where she was staying while she was having the radiation treatments, and stopped halfway there and turned to me and said, "What we will tell people is that the scan did in fact pick up more sites, but we certainly will not say that I'm riddled with it." and off she stormed again, and that was that. That was, yeah.
What a very proud person.
Stubborn old goat.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Like when I was first diagnosed, you tell everybody, and then you start seeing their reactions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was dead.
Yeah.
And I was buried, and I thought, oh no, I'm living. I'm not going to get me out of this box. So you stop talking to people.
Yeah.
No, you just
I met a friend at Kennyprue Hospital the other night, and she said to me, oh, I've been meaning to ring you, and she's a medical person. And I said, I'm not dead yet, Janet. And she said, I heard you were at death's door. And I said, well,
and I thought, start telling everybody, you know, just get it out of my chest. And I started to tell everybody. And then one day I said to my husband, I can't tell another soul. Because I was dying as far as they were concerned. I was dead. And they were going to bury me. And I wasn't ready for this. So I stopped talking about it.
I feel quite calm, and I'm thinking about a trip to Brazil. I feel very excited, but not yet quite believing I shall be going. There is so much happening. She had an operation, a physical operation, which she chose to do, and apparently a very low percentage of people do actually have a physical operation. She said it involved having a pair of scissor-like things stuck up her nose, and was told afterwards that she didn't have cancer anymore, basically, that she may still have the lump until she was an old woman, but not to worry about that, because it didn't mean that there was a problem. It was just that maybe her body wanted to keep the lump. She came back very excited and felt that she had been healed.
Is it when you stick it on a...
Well, it wasn't my doing, I can tell you. If it's got a hole, it's meant to.
Mine hasn't got a hole in it. See, that's much better than mine. Mine's hollow at the back. And so when I go like that, it goes...
Oh, that's right, yours goes...
Yes.
Well, I don't know. That's the one I got from Cindy.
I'm wearing maternity
so.
Not very big.
It's quite big enough. Thank you very much.
Pushing it around to make sure that it's around. Well, I've got a size D and a size B.
Oh,
and I've got stuffing inside.
Because you've got reconstruction.
Which went wrong.
Yeah.
I went into the hospital with size D breasts, and the tram flap was size D, so I was all matching. And then after the last operation, where he took all the way this here, I was a size D and a size B. So he said to me that I could come back and have a reduction on this side. And I went down after Christmas, and he checked me out, and I was well, and I still hadn't smoked. So everything should have gone, you know, would go really, really well for the reduction. And we booked in at March, and I cancelled it. And I was the mind games, you know, about the cancer and the operation, and what if this one goes wrong, and I'll be an A and a B, and then we have another one here, and I'm an A on the side and flat on the side, and I thought, perhaps I would have been better off just to have a double mastectomy and be done without it. And I thought, that's not me. It's not me.
And even though I haven't had children and I haven't breastfed, my breasts are an intrinsically important part of how I felt about myself. You know, that this image you have of yourself, it's very deeply embedded. And so's the loss.
And perhaps I'm a little vain, perhaps I am, but I think I'd like to be the same size and to be able to go into the shop and buy a bra without thinking about stuffing. Well, I want to, you know, go out and experience these beautiful colours that they've got now. But at the moment, all I can wear is white or cream. And I'd like to wear black and red and, you know, even if I don't look sexy on the outside, I like to look sexy on the inside and feel sexy on the inside. So an operation's going to put it right. And it's going to make me feel better. And every time I look in the shower or look at myself in the mirror, it's a reminder of the past, what's happened. And I really want to live. I don't want to be reminded. I don't want to, you know, think of it all the time. It's past, it's gone.
I was quite proud of it in a way. I thought, you know, God, look at this. This happened to me, and what an amazing job. I hadn't thought about what it might look like. I hadn't really taken it in. And I know other people thought it too, so it's quite good showing people, because it's not as horrible as they think. That you'd have this giant graze, because everything's been chopped off. You know, there'd be this big bare thing.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
Yeah, but of course it's not. It's sewing. It's making a dart. You know, it's joined up.
And you think he did quite a good job?
God, yeah.
God, he did too, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's only one scar. It's not just, you know, great mess.
And it's not all pleated, yours?
Pleated?
Well, some people's are sort of quite pleated.
Well, that's if they haven't been to dressmaking classes, the surgeons. See, this dart, this bit here's not very good.
Oh, right. You don't like that bit?
No, I hate that bit. It's just a bit weird. Yeah. So it starts off, you know, a good sewer, but it's like making a dress that doesn't fit. Oh, it was very abusive, because I thought it was too tight, like my neck wouldn't move. I said, you've sewn it up too tight, you know. Kind of a sewer you.
Yeah.
But then it's your skin stretches. You see? So he's a good sewer.
Friday, March the 19th, I had my third visit to Liston. He is very pleased with my progress. There is already visible change in my iris, and one of my lumps has gone down considerably. He said at one point, "We'll have you soon running like a Mercedes." And I said, "I've been looking for a new spiritual name." So he started calling me Mercedes. I wonder if he'll do it next week. I like it. Last week, my thumb and forefinger, the longest one, on my right hand, each developed a gunky blister, much throbbing down my right arm in the process. Liston was happy, as this was evidence of the toxins draining away from my breast area. He works with his eyes closed. He calls me Mercedes all the time now. She's had a session with a man called Colin Lambert. He said to her, "Well, I can't find any trace of cancer in this body, not at all, and I tell you, I usually pick it up no problem." So there, she's written in very big letters. I have felt emotional and headachy since. My mind is racing. When did it happen? Brazil, after returning, has Liston contributed? Had it gone before I went to see him, and so on and so on.
It must have been towards the end of October. I thought, gosh, we've got some work dues coming up, and I really would like to look a little bit balanced rather than lopsided. Anyway, so rang the specialist at the surgeon, and he said through his nurse, "No, you can't have the form. You have to come and see me first." And I said, "But we've got work dues coming up, and I want that form because I want a prosthesis. I want to look balanced." And she said, "Well, the message I have is you don't need it, and you're not going to get it until you've finished all of your treatment." And I still had 2 more chemos to go at that stage, plus another 5 weeks of radiation through January and February. And I said, I'm not going to be without that until March next year. I'm not prepared to do it. And she said, oh, let's see what I can do. So, and then the next phone call was, no, you can't have it till you come and see him. And I said, well, I'm not coming to see him. And I hung up. So I rang my own local GP, who's been wonderful, and he said, no problem, I'll write you out a note. Within half an hour, I had a letter from him. I went down, and I had been fitted for a prosthesis, and I walked out of that shop with 2 boobs, looking normal. Now, all of that heartache because the so-called specialist said, no, you need to see me first. Why? What was he going to do to me that meant I, couldn't have a prosthesis? It was absolutely ridiculous.
When you're stripped to the waist and you've got a guy in a white coat and 4 students sitting there, and you're in this tatty old building with this paint all peeling off the ceiling and the radiators rattling and it smells dirty and awful, and it's very hard to be assertive in that situation. I mean, I cried all the way from Wellington back to Paraffin because I was angry, because I felt I'd wasted my time, and because he made me feel about that big. Then later on I was cross with myself because I didn't follow it up, and here I had that thing sitting there for 2 years.
I think too, women have to be aware that you still felt well.
And you look well.
There's nothing wrong with me.
No. Yeah, me too. I guess
it's the treatment that makes you sick. I thought, I watched this thing changing, the breast. I watched it all happening, but I felt well.
And you're getting on with life.
I thought, oh, it's menopausal symptoms starting because I was 50, and I thought, oh, yeah, these things will, happen. I mean, it's just a physical change.
Day 12 of her juice fast. Started to feel really buzzy and lightheaded. Yesterday when I ran on the beach, I could keep going for longer without stopping. It felt good. So she's got lots of energy. This is why I was able to continue telling people that she was fine, like she wanted me to. She wanted me to just say, if anybody asked, she'd just say that she had a bit of a challenge, but that she's feeling fine, never felt better. And while she was still letting me know that she was running every day on the beach and she was still looking healthy and, had lots of energy, I didn't really see too much of a problem, but yeah, she definitely started looking sick not that long after. And the game playing became a lot harder to do.
I think the terrible thing about breast cancer is that you can have this life-threatening disease and not feel sick. And you think, how can I have something so seriously wrong with me and not be ill? And it's actually terrifying, that. Thinking that there's this lethal thing and you don't know. You don't know. I don't know whether this cancer cell's still in my body. And I'm only going to know when I get sick, really sick.
The lump was just glaringly obvious. I mean, it stuck out through her clothing and you couldn't hide from it, and I could see her fading away. Nan came with me and we went on to Warkworth to do some shopping, which I found a real struggle. Got home mid-afternoon and went straight to bed. I hadn't been lying down 5 minutes when I heard the flap of wings. Kereru had come to visit. I am revisiting the old areas of dealing with unavailable men and my attraction to them. This time there is a recognition of the habit and it is okay.
Well, I think it makes you realise that you're probably never going to have a relationship with someone again. That's how
Is that
I
because
felt.
you wouldn't allow it, or because you don't
Yes,
think anybody would cope with it?
Yeah, because I don't think anybody would cope with it.
But would you allow it to happen though?
I don't know. I really don't know that. But you see, our other friend that we were talking about in Waikanae, that you said you thought she had him, and she told me that she would never let another man in her life because she couldn't bear anybody to see her without that breast. And I just felt it was the
there must be
end.
lots of people out there that
Yeah,
will.
I just think, God, but you're
alive.
I know.
You know,
I know.
I mean, God, it's
I know,
only
but when
such
you've
a
had
strong-
if I had had a partner for 20, 25 years and he was used to me as I was, then probably I would feel differently about it. But to get into a new relationship, I think is, for me anyway, would be different altogether. I mean, I think I'd have to go to bed with my bra on and my prosthesis on.
Yeah, but they're going for you. They're not going for you.
I know, but you don't know.
What if you
Yes.
and one of you might like your knees. You might go out with it. Then you have a knee operation, you're going to wipe your knees.
Well, I live in a relationship-free house. So, and I've done all that, you know. I just, you know, I came out of one that was absolutely horrible at the end, and what happened was hideous. So, and I've been with someone since I was really, really young, so I'm into my flatting single stage. I'm never going to do it again. But I know what you mean because I got to know the man in the parking area at the hospital, and I was talking to him, and I told him, you know, I'd had him inspected, and he said, I always said to my wife, you get a breast off, it will make no difference to me. I thought, fine, I just forgot about this, you know. And I was mean. I said, what do you mean? Why would it make any difference? I was telling her it wouldn't make any difference. Yes, but why would it? I thought, oh, God. Yeah, so, I mean, that was, I can imagine how people feel. And I think, yeah. And imagine the partner. I mean, they'd have to lie anyway, wouldn't they? Imagine saying to your, you know, your poor mate who's lost a breast, well, actually, I don't find you attractive anymore because you've only got one bosom and I don't fancy you. I mean, even if they did think that, they're not going to say it, are they?
No.
Unless they want it to come to a big end. So I imagine it quite hard for them as well, for the other partner, because, you know, who do they tell if they do care? Yes, I imagine they're saying, no, don't be silly, you know. It's fine, doesn't make any difference. I still love you dearly.
Friday the 8th of October, 4:30 p.m. Looking through the open door onto the deck from my bedroom, cabbage tree fronds are gently turning. The red of the flame tree flowers are blotches in the overall green of out there, the chooks scratching beneath my window. Jess is tired. They struck past her, teasing her. The sea is still loud. Last night and this morning it rained heavily into the happy earth. I think of the things newly planted in the garden, potatoes and lettuce. Here I am, flat on my back since about a week ago, the pain in my hip becoming so intense on meeting gravity when I stand up that the desire to go horizontal again is overwhelming. I do not know what is going on other than there is obviously some kind of block at that point. On Monday last, I accepted Christ into my life as my teacher, saviour. What will this mean? I feel lighter, but not much different yet. There are many things I am feeling.
You know, Gaspaggy McGuinness,
yes.
If you do a write-up, she will put it in her newsletter.
You do it.
No, you do it.
You big girl, you can do it.
You
I'm
two
too
could
good at that.
No, well, I thought
We'll do
it'd be
it
nice for
together.
you. We'll do it together because it's also going to bring out the fact that the person that does that newsletter has had breast cancer. So, and they don't know yet, you see, or some of them are guessing that this is what's happening. So it's really, I'm coming out the closet, so I really need some help with it.
Okay, well, we'll do it together.
We'll do it together.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
It's the first week back at school, isn't it?
Yes, it is the first week back at school. We've got coastings from Monday the 9th till Sunday the 15th, all day, every day. Excellent. I've arranged for 2 big screens and 2 tables.
Awesome. Everything stayed together?
didn't drop your wig, your wig didn't come off. So when did your hair start to go?
Exactly 2 weeks to the day after I had the chemo.
Really?
Exactly 2 weeks. I think the worst thing is when it's coming out under the shower.
Oh, yes. Oh.
And it's sticking to you, and I felt like an ape that couldn't. I was trying to get rid of this hair off me, and it wouldn't come off because I was wet. It was horrible, and then you pick it out of the plug hole. You know, it wasn't nice. And nobody told me. None of you girls told me how sore your head gets.
Feels tingly, almost.
It's sensitive, really, really sensitive.
So I didn't have that sensitive thing. You know, life goes on, that you can get on with it. And that's why I decided I wanted the tattoo. And I can remember Chris saying, nah, you get that done, I'll divorce. I said, what are you going to do? He said, divorce you.
Have you had it done? Have you really?
I've seen it. Where? Here?
Strip again, please. Da, 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 da.
It's a bit, it's, you know, still.
Great.
It's cool now.
It
You did a really
is.
good job.
Very
And I've got my
nice.
pink ribbon.
This is Monday, November the 1st. Will I walk, run, dance freely ever again? The pain in my hip gripes me tonight whenever I stand. Somehow that if I'd done it differently, known how to live, then things would be different now. I can't believe my life will be taken from me yet. Yet I'm being brought so very close to that possibility. I know miracles do happen, therefore I align myself with that energy. That is God's healing.
They did a thing in San Francisco, and they had them as posters, and they had them all around San Francisco. They had them in the bus stations, and there was such an outcry. People were so upset that they had to take all these posters down because people couldn't stand having these images. And I think the problem was that they identified the female model with a certain look, and it was too close to that stereotype view of women, and yet here was this woman without a breast.
Can I take one of these?
You certainly can.
No, I better make an appointment to have mine done.
Yes, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And on the back, you see the size.
Gives the size of your... Oh my gosh, if you want to really do it. No, so I haven't got any lumps. Good. I'm a regular screener. Good. It's amazing how we need our women around.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And men, 1% of men do get breast cancer as well. So, right. Men mainly get prostate cancer, which is a similar type of cancer, but 1% of men can get breast cancer. So, you're not immune.
This one is to indicate that 1 in 8. This is an American photograph. That 1 in 8 American women get breast cancer. 1,500 women a year in this country get breast cancer, and just under 600 of them die. 600 women a year. It's like the road toll, isn't it?
Today I've been visited by Rick from Waitemata Health for an assessment re my eligibility for paid home help. It is for 6 hours a day for 28 days only during the next 12 months. I can break down those hours into a format that suits us both. It isn't a lot, but then I plan to be well again soon anyway.
Because I know when I had to make my choice, I decided to have my whole breast off. I thought I just want the whole thing. I
So
think I'd go for that
when you
only
because of the history, what had happened to your mother?
Yeah, I did, but I don't know whether that would be right or wrong either.
She was 78, yes. Really? So you're not out of the danger, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Did she have a knock? Did she?
No,
It
knocks
wasn't
don't.
caused by...
It's not caused by knocks.
Asian women, you know, have far
Right.
less incidence
Exactly.
of breast cancer than Western women.
Yes, they do.
Well, you know, you've got to look at their lifestyle and diet as part of that. So,
and European women too.
Exactly.
You know, Greeks and the Spanish and the...
Makes you wonder if we're eating something or something, doesn't
I
it?
know, it does.
Quite a young girl, I think she was only 36, and she was with her mum, and she was facing surgery in the next few days, and she just had no idea, absolutely no idea what it was about, what was meant to be happening in this time, you know, what were her choices and what did it look like. And luckily, three of the girls had had different situations. One had, on the stand, had breast implants, one had had a reconstruction, and one had had a mastectomy and was wearing a prosthesis. So they said to her, do you want to have a look at the, you know, what it's all about? And she said yes. So they took her off to the toilets and they showed her. And if I'd been able to see that, I think, you know, it would have answered a lot of questions, because you're seeing it. You can look in books and you look. I haven't gone down the track of breast reconstruction, because I figure I've had enough surgery. Who cares? I mean, who would notice anyway? They wouldn't, unless they were big numbers. But no one would notice. And in books, you only see the best anyway. And these 3 girls had all different situations, and she could see. And I think, from what I've heard, she said, "Oh, well, I don't want that, and I don't think I want that either, but that one doesn't look too bad." And that's good. I mean, she knows what she's going in for. You know, that sort of thing. I mean, where else would that happen? In Paraparaumu of all places, you know? In the mall.
Are you going to show me?
Yeah. I'm just going to show what a prosthesis looks like.
One of those. Want me to take mine out? Mine's easier.
Oh, wow. And I've got Velcro on the back of it. So on my chest wall, I have that stuck, and that just sticks on it. So I can run. I go to the gym and I run, and it doesn't bounce out of my bra or anything. But I mean, you would not have known that I was wearing a prosthesis.
No, I wouldn't have known.
So, and it just feels, it's silicone.
It's sad, eh? It's sad, but it's...
No, but I'm well, so it's not really sad.
It's sad, but it's good, because there are, if you can survive, like you say, survivors, there's ways
and means, most definitely. I mean, quite a number of women have reconstructions, but I didn't want to go there. I'd had enough, you know. I just said, oh no, I'll have a stick-on job.
Oh, they're both cool.
So I just have to remember to put it in.
Well, I know that if I get
And then you get another little old lady and she's looking at you and you think, oh, she wants a soap. So you go and hand her a soap. And she says, I had breast cancer 23 years ago. And look at me, I'm living. And you think, oh, we can make it. We can really make it. You know, because she's done it. Why can't we do it?
We could do this with our breast cancer support group. We could set up for the whole series of these. So we could get ourselves dressed up and do a whole series.
Yeah. Looks awesome,
and we
eh?
could get some...
Well, you know,
to do some shots like that.
Yeah, wouldn't worry me. I'm on for anything. God, I've passed worrying about it.
It's just a skirt. You've got to have a tail or stuff.
The lace, a pair of black pants and the black hat.
Oh, let's have a look.
Titless wonder. What do you reckon?
You too.
They're amazing.
And I've got my tramping boots. I'm going to go all native. I'm going to have my pith helmets if I'm in the jungle.
My pants. It wouldn't fit my big toe.
What about a really serious one? Just standing right on the edge of the white there. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. Yeah, lovely.
But today I thought, oh, I don't really want to lose the other one, you know. I mean, I'm sure it'll be all right. You cove and just get on with your life, but I quite like having the other one. And they're not, you know, they're not big enough to. Like, what's that woman saying? How she got all unbalanced or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine aren't big enough to cause that kind of trouble.
How would you like? Fluffy? And what about just camisole? Cool. Yeah. What a cool idea.
I like it when somebody else new comes in. And we're sitting there and we're all at different stages. We've got one girl at 5 years, one girl at a couple at 3, and me at 1, and somebody else at 9, and then we get these new girls that are coming in that's just going through that experience. And they say, this is happening to me, and I'm a bit frightened, or why is this happening? And somebody in that group's been there, done that, and they're able to say, it's just normal for what you've got. Don't worry about it. And you can see them relaxing. They come in stiff and scared and apprehensive. And they walk out and they're walking tall and they're smiling and they're laughing. And they've been fed by Kay's recipes and her lovely cakes and stuff like this. And nice cup of tea, nice companionship. And you go home and you think, I'm alive and I'm part of that group. And I can be anybody I want to be.
Like an offering. Yeah, hang on, I've got to she's got to stick it. I have that reminder every day when I get out of the shower and I see one breast and a scar. But it doesn't make me think of death. It makes me think that I've been there and done that, and tomorrow's another day. We could be shifting to Auckland in the very near future, which is really sad for me. It'll be a lifestyle change for sure, but the friendships that I've made and our support group will always be there.
Yeah, they will.
They will.
They will. Absolutely will. Because you guys have just got the whole thing together.
Oh,
It's a
we
lifetime
have.
thing.
It is a lifetime thing, and it's...
I mean, you'll miss them around the road.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've got email. Can still send pictures of all my tattoos on email. Have to get a few more now. Have to get Cavity Island on here. That'll please my husband.
Okay, you're my groom, and I'm the flower girl.
To confront the mutilation was a huge thing for me. And it still is.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. To look at my scarred body, it absolutely is. And I have to wake up and look at that mutilation every day of my life. And it's hard. I could have had a reconstruction, but I opted not to do that. And even if I had, the scarring would have been on some other part of my body in order to achieve the reconstruction. So, you know, it just didn't seem like an option for me. And so when I do things like allow myself to be photographed like that, I've sort of removed myself from it, and I've thought about it as something, there's a big issue, and I'm just one person making some sort of expression about that. And in some ways, that's given me a freedom to dance about it and to appear that way in public. Because I believe profoundly that we shouldn't hide this issue of breast cancer. And not behind prostheses, although it's a choice some women make, and that's just fine. But for me, I think the moment when I really made that very conscious decision was when I read Audre Lorde's book, Cancer Journals. Audre Lorde is a black American poet who eventually died of breast cancer. But in her Cancer Journals, she talked about how a prosthesis enables women to go out and say, nobody will know the difference. I'll still look the same. I'll still look as if I have breasts. And what Audre Lorde said was, it's that very difference that she wanted to affirm, because here she was, breastless and still alive, and she wanted to say, well, look, here I am. I'm a survivor. Yes, I don't have my breasts, but hey, I'm still here. And when I read those comments in that book, I thought, yeah, I believe that. That's a stance that makes sense to me. And however hard it is, that's what I'm going to do.
Whenever it is, I want my passing to be trusting and full of joy, and I want especially to trust the timing and leading up to it, that there is no place for fear or anxiety, that God will arrange everything with sweet synchronicity. The sea is loud behind the dunes tonight. Felicity and Ellen are camping nearby. I've woken in the night and think of great-grandma Hessie and the blue socks she was knitting when she died. It's the 6th of the 1st, 2000. Louise and Amy have arrived. Louise is reading me Discovering New Zealand. The crew have been able to put fresh food on board. And it's her last entry. And it was the next day that she went off to the hospice.
And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I think, have I dreamt all this? And I go and touch my chest and I think, no, I haven't dreamt it. It is actually real. It did happen. But sometimes I wonder if it's all a bit of a nightmare, really, and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to find that they're there.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.
If you'd like more information about breast cancer and breast health, please contact the New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation on 0800 902 732. That's 0800 902 732, or visit their website nzbcf.org.nz.